Welcome back to Fancy Your Feast. I'm your host, Miranda McGuire. Thank you for tuning in. Today, we're not going to take you through a whole 3-course meal like we typically do. We're just going to focus on my favorite dessert. It is a coconut cream cake that my grandma had made for every birthday growing up, and still to this day, she spoils me with it.
You just take a white cake.
Do you use any special brand or just any white cake?
I use Duncan Hines.
Duncan Hines white
Classic.
cake. Classic. Okay.
And when it's warm, I take a wooden spoon about that big around and I punch it all over. Coconut cream whipped up. I takes 2 cans in that big one.
So you just buy the cans of coconut cream?
You have to buy them where the mixed drinks is.
Oh, okay.
You know, where the tonic water and all that stuff is.
So like pina colada?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I pour that over it while it's hot. Make sure you get it in every hole.
Okay.
Down in every hole.
And you put holes all over it?
The whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm particular with it.
Yeah.
And Cool Whip and sprinkle coconut on it. That's it.
I'm going to make it for you today, and it's really easy. What we're going to start with is just any white classic cake mix. I typically use Duncan Hines. It's just what she uses, so why not? You know, I don't want to mess it up. So we're just going to go ahead and start by tilting up our mixer, and we're going to add in the box of cake mix. There we go. And then it calls for 3 eggs, so I'm just going to go ahead and crack these in. And you want to go ahead before you start and actually preheat your oven to 350. And depending on the cake pan that you use, today I'm going to use a square one, but typically I do use a round one. Just follow the heating directions that is on the box. So about 20 to 30 minutes, depending on your size. And next we're going to add 1/3 cup of oil. Got it in there. And 1 1/4 cup of water. Easy enough so far? All right, now we just put our mixer down and let it do the work for about 2 minutes. Okay, so we've just finished mixing our batter for 2 minutes. Now we're going to take some nonstick baking spray and make sure that we cover our pan completely, because we're going to be flipping our cake out onto a serving platter. So we want to make sure that that cake slides out without falling apart. So we have our pan good and greased up, and now we are just going to pour our batter into the pan. And I'm using a square 9-inch pan. I usually like round ones the best, but I thought I'd try something a little different. And I'm going to be lining this cake with strawberries, so square pan actually gives a really nice look. You'll see at the end whenever we finish up with our presentation. All right. So what we want to do is just give our pan a nice little shake. Make sure it's all even. And now you can follow me to the kitchen. Okay, so we are just going to come in here to our oven, and we're going to bake our cake at 350 for 25 minutes. Okay, so we just took our cake out of the oven. It baked for about 25 minutes. Now we're going to take a straw, or you can use anything about this size, but I like using a straw. And we are just going to poke holes all over this cake. And I mean all over it, because we're going to pour in a can of coconut cream. And we want to make sure that it gets everywhere. It's going to make the most moist cake you've ever tasted. It's just out of this world unbelievable. So now that we have all of our holes in our cake, we're going to take our can of coconut cream, and you can get this at your local grocer or Walmart, and it's backed by the Pina Colada daiquiri mixes. So we'll just pour that all over our hot cake. Now make sure that you don't let your cake cool down too much, or the coconut won't melt and it won't get inside the cake. So get that all out of there, and then we'll just roll it around because we want it to melt really good and get down in every one of those holes. Okay, so now that we have our coconut cream all blended into our cake, we're going to set it in the refrigerator to cool for at least 30 minutes. Okay, now we've just pulled our cake out of the refrigerator, and now we're just going to take our plate and set it over our cake pan, line it up, and give it a nice little flip. You might want to just shake it or tap on it a little bit, but it should just slide right out. And it did. Beautiful. Okay, so now we are just going to take our whipped cream, or Cool Whip actually, and we just use a whole tub of the Cool Whip. You want to use the whole entire thing. And remember, you want to get it in enough time to where it can naturally thaw out in the refrigerator, because you don't want it frozen, but you don't want to have to stir it to unfreeze it, because then it will just run all over the place, and it'll still taste good, but it will look like a big hot mess. So let's go ahead and just flop our Cool Whip on our cake. And we're not going to go over the sides, we're just going to keep it on the top so it looks really pretty thick and fluffy. And now we're just going to kind of press down a little bit, make sure we get to every corner. In your Cool Whip, if your cake lasts a few days, your Cool Whip is going to stay looking just as fluffy and firm and nice as it does right whenever you put it on. So we've got it all over our cake. Some people like to do designs. You might want to just spread it. It's your creation. So now we're going to finish off with some coconut flakes. And I love coconut flakes, but if you're not a big coconut fan because of the texture, you do not have to use coconut. No big deal. You can use whatever you want. And since I do love coconut, I'm going to make sure that I get it little flakes all over the cake. Beautiful. And to finish, we're just going to add a little bit of color with strawberries. So just wash and rinse your strawberries, and then we're just going to line the bottom of our plate. And there we are, our beautiful creation. So now, my favorite part of the show, time to cut the cake. I like using my big fancy cake cutting knife. Keeps the cake very clean whenever you are ready to serve it. And you want to make sure that you get some strawberries on your plate. And this is our end result of my favorite cake, compliments of Granny Joyce. And now I'm gonna dig in. That's fancy. So tune in next time and we'll have another delicious meal, and we'll bring back our signature drink. And check us out on FancyYourFeast.com, where you can find all of our recipes and video clips. Take care.